Hello and namaste to all of you. I am Jeevin Shalu Singh from Department of Physiotherapy and Diagnosis from Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. For today's session, I'll be talking about respiratory alkalosis. Respiratory alkalosis is one of the major acid-based disturbances. To introduce with, uh, re- uh, there are two types of major acid-based disturbances: acidosis and your alkalosis. So, in case of acidosis, there is decrease in pH from your decrease in pH from your normal plasma level, that is a plasma pH level that is from 7.38, and in case of alkalosis the pH increases above 7.42. Acidosis is further divided into respiratory acidosis and metabolic acidosis, whereas alkalosis it is divided into respiratory alkalosis and your metabolic alkalosis. Since there is fall in pH in case of acidosis, so lower will be your pH, more will be your acidosis, and higher will be your pH, more will be your alkalosis. In case of, I have in further sections, I've already told you about metabolic acidosis, which is in which there is a deficit of the bicarbonate ions, and metabolic alkalosis also have discussed, where there is excess of the bicarbonate ions. And in case of respiratory acidosis, there is excess of your carbonic acid, and in case of respiratory alkalosis, there is deficit of your carbonic acid. Later also, we discussed about your compensatory responses, mixed responses, and during metabolic acidosis, which is the chemical pathology of acid-base disturbances, we came across anion gap and osmolar gap. There would be two types of anion gap: high anion gap, metabolic acidosis, and normal anion gap, metabolic acidosis. Now, there were several causes of both high anion gap metabolic acidosis and normal anion gap metabolic acidosis. Later, we discussed metabolic alkalosis with its subclassification, which is chloride responsive and chloride resistant. Now, later we discussed about the respiratory acidosis. For today's session, we would be focusing on your term respiratory alkalosis. So, what is a respiratory alkalosis? Basically, it is a primary deficit of carbonic acid, and it is described as respiratory alkalosis. Hyperventilation, it will result in washing out of your carbon dioxide. Let's suppose that if you have a normal during a normal physiological condition, like you climbed up your stairs, or you went for running. During that time, you'll hyperventilate, means you'll breathe faster and heavier. During that time, you'll release more of your carbon dioxide and take in more of your oxygen. So that would be a case of your hyperventilation. So this during hyperventilation, carbon dioxide from your lungs, it will be washed out. In respiratory alkalosis, since there is a deficiency of carbonic acid, means carbon dioxide would not, since carbon dioxide is getting washed out, so it won't be available for the formation of your carbonic acid, right? Because how is carbonic acid formed? It is formed from carbon dioxide and your water. So CO2 plus H2O will form H2CO3. Since there is no carbon dioxide available, so there will be deficiency of your carbonic acid. Now, since there is deficiency of carbonic acid, if we talk about the ratio of bicarbonate to carbonic acid, see, bicarbonate, it is present in your numerator, and carbonic acid, it is present in your value, it is carbonic acid value is present in your denominator. So if denominator is less, right? So if there is a less of your denominator, means the total division or your total ratio, it will come out to be more, right? So that is a basic mathematics. You basically have to look into it. So so bicarbonate to carbonic acid ratio, it will increase more than 20. Now this was uh, this was the case for respiratory alkalosis. Now, during the causes of hysterical hyperventilation, there will be a raised intracranial pressure and brainstem injury. Since look at it that lot of carbon dioxide is getting out, so and lot of oxygen is coming in. So there is lot of osmosis within your system, right? So you can always expect some change in your pressure and temperature within your body. So uh, excessive hyperventilation, it will cause your intracranial pressure to increase. So since there will be increase in your raised intracranial pressure, so it can cause injury to your vessels, or it can cause a damage to your vessels due to increase in pressure on your pressure vessel walls. So and secondly, it can hyperventilation, since there is a lot of pressure, so it may cause brainstem injury. So next will be early stage of salicylate poisoning, which will cause respiratory alkalosis due to stimulation of your respiratory center. So if a person has consumed salicylate and has got salicylate poisoning, so during earlier stages, I'm not talking about a chronic stage. During your earlier stage, it can cause respiratory alkalosis. So due to the because your respiratory center, it will get stimulated, so it will cause respiratory alkalosis. Okay, so because it is basically the acidic condition, the poisoning condition is basically acidic. So in order to balance it, or in order to neutralize it, this body as a defense mechanism, the respiratory center, it will cause the stimulation of respiratory alkalosis. So here respiratory alkalosis is your defensive mechanism. So but later in stages of later will end up with your metabolic acidosis. So it will during salicylate poisoning, respiratory alkalosis will be a first line of defense. Now later it will turn up into metabolic acidosis, and there'll be, because there will be accumulation of your organic acids and lactic acids and keto acids. So other causes of your respiratory alkalosis can be your pneumonia, your pulmonary embolism, and your PCO2. If your PCO2 is low and pH is high and bicarbonate level is normal, so because but during bicarbonate levels, if I say so, bicarbonate level falls. So when compensation will occur, these bicarbonate levels will fall. So compensation occurs immediately in acute stages, but in prolonged chronic stages, renal compensation will take place. So, if I talk about the earlier stages, so compensation will take place and there'll be no issue. But for you, in your prolonged cases or in your chronic cases, if I talk about, the kidneys will start working, and it will start exchanging your bicarbonates or your these bicarbonates and carbonic acids, and it will cause renal compensation. Now since bicarbonate level, it is reduced by decreasing the reclamination of filtered bicarbonate. So clinically, hyperventilation, muscle cramps, tingling, and paresthesia are seen. So, uh, if there is hyperventilation, that is, it is the case of anaerobic. It is anaerobic condition. So, during anaerobic condition, uh, there will be lactic acid accumulation. Lack of oxygen is there, so lactic acid accumulation will be there. So, it will lead to muscle cramps, and you fingers and toes, they'll feel tingling sensation, and paresthesia will be seen. So, in alkaline, the alkaline pH, it will favor increased binding of calcium to your proteins, and it will result in decreased ionized calcium. So, it will lead to paresthesia. Now, causes of acidosis and alkalosis I've already told you in earlier sections. Now, how do we assess basically these acid-base parameters? So, if I talk in terms of laboratory techniques, there is ABG analyzer, which is arterial blood gas analyzer present. So that machine is used for the assessment of your um, acid-base status. So the assessment of acid-base status is usually done by a ABG analyzer, that is arterial blood gas analyzer. Which what will this ABG analyzer basically do? It will actually measure your pH, your PCO2 and PO2 directly or by the means of your electrodes. So arterial blood is used to measure the acid base parameter. So what will be the sample used? It will be basically arterial blood, not your normal blood, but the arterial blood. Okay. So in the absence of blood gas analyzer, if there is no blood gas analyzer, then venous blood may be collected under paraffin. So usually what we can collect is your venous blood. So if there is that absence of the blood gas, neither venous blood can be collected, and that too under paraffin. Okay, why paraffin? Because to eliminate contact with your air, there should be no contact with air. So bicarbonate is estimated by titration to pH 7.4, and from the values of sodium, potassium, and chloride and bicarbonate, or the anion gap will be calculated. Okay, so the difference between total sodium, potassium, and difference and sum of bicarbonate and chloride anion gap will be calculated. Okay, so most of the critical care analyzers, they estimate blood gas, electrolyte, and they calculate the anion gap. So for clinical assessment, instead of Henderson-Hasselbalch equation, a modified version of a Henderson equation is used. Okay. Now, what is this? During this modified equation, what is it? Like hydrogen ions in millimoles per liter are calculated as 24 into PCO2 levels present in mmHg divided by your HCO3 minus. Okay, so if you put the values, so the values of your PCO2 and values of your HCO3, you can calculate the acidity or hydrogen ion concentrations. So what is basically there is a term called arterial oxygen saturation, or if you can write it as capital S small a O2. So now what is arterial oxygen saturation? Basically, it is measured by your pulse oximeter. So what it assesses, it is basically assesses your oxygenation, but it will give no information of your respiratory ventilation. So if a small drop, if there is a small drop in your SaO2, your arterial oxygen saturation, it will represent a large drop in your PO2. So if there is increased ventilation, it will lower the PCO2, and it will lead to respiratory alkalosis, and decreased ventilation will raise the PCO2 and lead to respiratory acidosis. Now, I think this is over now. So I'm done with the topic of respiratory alkalosis. Now And now this was the end for your acid base disturbances. So those were all metabolic acidosis, metabolic alkalosis, respiratory acidosis, and respiratory alkalosis. So go through all the topics, and if you find any difficulty in understanding any of the things, please you can always contact me. And thank you so much, and take care.